have to read some of this. I'm glad for my songs to be honored like this. But you know, they didn't get here by themselves. It's been a long road and it's taken a lot of doing. These songs of mine, they're like mystery plays, the kind that Shakespeare saw when he was growing up. And I think you could trace what I do back that far. They were on the fringes then, and I think they're on fringes now. And they sound like they've been on hard ground. I should mention a few people along the way who brought this about. I know I should mention John Hammond, great talent scout from Columbia Records. He signed me to that label when I was big. It took a lot of faith to do that, and he took a lot of ridicule, but he was his own man and he was courageous. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. The last person he discovered before me was Aretha Franklin, and before that, Count Basie, Billie Holiday, and a whole lot of other artists. All non-commercial artists. Trends did not interest John, and I was very non-commercial, but he stayed with me. He believed in my talent, and that's all that mattered. I can't thank him enough for that. He leads music, and they published my earliest songs, but I didn't stay there too long. Levy himself, he went back a long ways. He signed me to that company and recorded my songs, and I singing them into a tape recorder. He told me outright there was no precedent for what I was doing, that I was either before my time or behind it. And if I brought him a song like Stardust, he'd turn it down because it'd be too late. He's told me that if I was before my time, and he didn't really know that for sure, but if it was happening, and if it was true that the public would usually take 3 to 5 years to catch up, so be prepared. And that did happen. The trouble was, when the public did catch up, I was 3 to 5 years behind that, so it kind of got complicated. It was encouraging, and he didn't judge me, and I'll always remember him for that. The mogul that Widmark Music signed me next to his company. He told me to just keep writing songs no matter what. That I could be on to something. Well, he too stood behind me, and he could never wait to see what I'd give him next. I didn't even think of myself as a songwriter before that. I'll always be grateful to him also for that attitude. I also have to mention some of the early artists who recorded my songs very, very early, without having to be asked. Just something they felt about them, right for them. I've got to say thank you to Peter Paul and Mary. All separately before they ever became a group. I didn't usually think of myself as writing songs for others to sing, but it was starting to happen. And it couldn't have happened to or with a better group. They took a song of mine that I'd recorded before that was buried on one of my early records, and they turned it into a hit song. Not the way I would have done it, they straightened it out. But since then, hundreds of people have recorded it. I don't think that would have happened if it wasn't for them. We definitely started something. The Birds, the Turtles, Sonny and Cher, they made some of my songs top 10 hits. But I wasn't a pop songwriter, and I really didn't want to be that. But it was good that it happened. Their versions of songs were like commercials. But I didn't really mind that, because 50 years later, my songs were being used for commercials. So that was good. I was glad it happened, and I was glad they'd done it. Purvis Staples and the Staple Singers. Long before they were on Stax, they were on Epic. Favorite groups of all time. I met them all in 62 or 63. They heard my songs live, and Purvis wanted to record 3 or 4 of them, and he did, as with the Staple Singers. They were the type of artists that I wanted recording my songs. Nina Simone, crossed paths with her in New York City in a Village Gate nightclub. These are the artists that I look up to. She recorded some of my songs that she learned directly from me. She was an overwhelming artist, piano player and singer, very strong woman, very outspoken, and dynamite to see perform. That she was recording my songs validated for me everything I was about. Oh, we can't forget Jimi Hendrix. He was with a band called Jimmy James and the Blue Flames, something like that. And Jimmy didn't even sing, he was just a guitar player. He took some small songs of mine that nobody paid any attention to. He brought them up into the outer limits of stratosphere, turned them all into classics. I have to thank Jimmy too. I wish he was here. Johnny Cash recorded some of my songs early on too. 53, when he was all skin and bones. He had traveled long, he traveled hard, but he was a hero of mine. I heard many of his songs growing up. I knew him better than I knew my own. Big River, I Walk the Line. How High's the Water, Mama? I wrote It's All Right, Ma, I'm Only Legal with that song reverberating inside my head. I still ask, how high's the water, Mama? Johnny was an intense character, and he saw that people were putting me down, playing electric music. And he posted letters to magazines, scolding people and telling them to shut up and let him sing. In Johnny Cash's world, a hardcore Southern drama, that kind of thing didn't exist. Nobody told anybody what to sing or what not to sing. Critics didn't do that kind of thing. I always got to thank him for doing that. Johnny Cash was a giant of a man. Always cherish the friendship we had until the day there is no more days. Oh, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Joan Baez. She was the queen of folk music then and now. She took a liking to my songs and brought me with her to play concerts where she had crowds of thousands of people enthralled with her beauty and voice. People say, what are you doing with that ragtag, scrubby-looking waif? And she'd tell her audience in no uncertain terms, now you may be quiet and listen to his songs. We even played a few of them together. Joan Baez is as tough-minded as they come. A free, independent spirit. Nobody can tell her what to do if she doesn't want to do it. And I learned a lot of things from her. Devastating honesty. And for her kind of love and devotion, I could never repay that back. I didn't just make them up out of whole cloth. Contrary to what Lou Levy said, there was a precedent. The alcohol came out of traditional music, traditional folk music, traditional rock and roll, and traditional big band swing orchestra music. I learned lyrics, how to write them, from listening to folk songs. And I played them, and I met other people that played them, back when nobody was doing it. Sang nothing but these folk songs, and they gave me the code for everything that's fair game, that everything belongs to everyone. 3 or 4 years, maybe all I listened to were folk singers. I went to sleep singing folk songs. I'm everywhere. Clubs, parties, bars, coffee houses, fields, festivals, and I met other singers along the way who did the same thing, and we just learned songs from each other. I could learn one song and sing it in an hour, if I heard it just once. If you sang John Henry as many times as me, John Henry was a steel-driving man, died with a hammer in his hand. John Henry said, a man ain't nothing but a man. Before I let that steam drill drive me down, I'll die with that hammer in my hand. If you sang that song as many times as I did, you'd have written how many roads must a man walk down to. Bill Brucey had a song called Key to the Highway. I got the key to the highway, I'm booked and I'm bound to go. Gonna leave here running, cause walking is most too slow. I sang that a lot. If you sing that a lot, you just might write. Georgia Sam had a bloody nose. Welfare department wouldn't give him no clothes. He asked poor Howard, where can I go? Howard said, there's only one place I know. He said, tell me quick, man, I thought. Howard just pointed off with his gun, said, that way, down Highway 61. That too. If you sang Key to Highway as much as me, ain't no use to sit and cry, you'll be an angel by and by. Sail away, lady, sail away. I'm sailing away my own true love. Boots of Spanish leather, she'll quote you, son, man. Roll the cotton down. Oh yeah, roll the cotton down. $10 a day is a white man's pay. $1 a day is a black man's pay. Roll the cotton down. If you sang that song as many times as me, you'd be writing it, ain't gonna work on Maggie's farm too. I sang a lot of Come All Ye songs. There's plenty of them. There's way too many to be counted. Come along, boys, I'll tell you. Listen to my tale. I'll tell you my troubles on the old Chisholm Trail. Or, come all you good people, listen while I tell. The fate of Floyd Collins, a lad we all know well. Come all you fair and tender ladies, take a wondering how you caught your man. They're like a star on a summer morning, and first they're here, and then they're gone again. Come gather around, people, the story I will tell about Pretty Boy Floyd, the outlaw, Oklahoma knew him well. But if you sung all these come all ye songs all the time, you'd be writing. Come around, gather around, people, wherever you roam, admit that the waters around you have grown. Except that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. Time to you is worth saving, and you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are changing. There's nothing secret about it. You just do it subliminally and unconsciously, because that's all you know, and that's all I sang. That was all that was dear to me. They were the only kinds of songs that made sense. When you go down to Deep Bellow and keep your money in lemon in Deep Bellow and put you on the rocks. Sing that song for a while. You just might come up when you're lost in the rain and Juarez and it's Easter time. After you down negativity, don't go through you, through you. Don't put on the airs when you're down on Rue Morgue Avenue. They got women there. I'll just open it up a different door in a different kind of way. It's just different to say the same thing. I didn't think it was anything out of the ordinary. But you know, I just thought I was doing something natural. But right from the start, my songs were divisive for some reason. They divided people. I never knew why. Some of them got angered. Others loved them. Didn't know why. My songs had detractors and supporters. A strange environment to have to throw your songs into, but I did it anyway. Last thing I thought about was who cared about what song I was writing. I was just writing them. I didn't think I was doing anything different. I thought I was just extending the line. Maybe a little bit unruly, but I was just elaborating on situations. Maybe hard to pin down, but so what? A lot of people are hard to pin down. You just got to bear it. I didn't really care what Lieber and Stoller thought of my songs. They didn't like them. But Doc Thomas did. That was all right, they didn't like them. Because I didn't like their songs either. Yakety yak, don't talk back. As a clown, baby, I'm a hog for you. Multi-songs. They weren't saying anything serious, but Doc's songs, they were better. This Magic Moment, Lonely Avenue, Save the Last Dance for Me, those songs broke my heart. I figured I'd rather have his blessings any day than theirs. Ahmet Erdogan didn't think of much of my songs, but Sam Phillips did. Ahmet founded Atlantic Records. He produced some great records. Ray Charles, Ray Brown, Vern Baker, just to name a few. There were some great records there, no question about it. But Sam Phillips, he recorded Elvis and Jerry Lee, Carl Perkins and Johnny Cash. Radical artists that shook the very essence of humanity. Revolution in style and scope, every shape and color. Radical to the bone, songs that cut you to the bone. Renegades in all degrees. Do it songs that would never decay and still resound to this day. Phillips bless him any day. Merle Haggard didn't even think much of my song. I know he didn't. He didn't say that to me, but I know way back when he didn't. But Buck Owens did, and he recorded some of my early songs. Merle Haggard, Mama Tried, The Bottle Let Me Down, I'm a Lonesome Fugitive. I can't imagine Waylon Jennings singing The Bottle Let Me Down. Together Again, that's Buck Owens, and that trumps anything coming out of Bakersfield. Buck Owens and Merle Haggard, if you have to have somebody's blessing, well, you figure it out. Critics have been giving me a hard time since day one. They say I can't sing, I croak, sound like a frog. Why don't critics say that same thing about Tom Waits? Voice is sharp. Why don't they say those things about Leonard Cohen? I get special treatment. Critics say that I can't carry a tune, that I talk my way through a song. Really? I never heard that said about Lou Reed. Why does he get to go scot-free? What have I done to deserve this special attention? Range? When's the last time you heard Dr. John? Why don't you say that about him? Slur my words, got no diction. Have you people ever listened to Charlie Patton, or Robert Johnson, Buddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf? Talk about slurred words, no diction. What does it even matter? Why me, Lord? I always say that to myself. Oh, yeah. Critics say I mangle my melodies. render my songs unrecognizable. Oh, really? Let me tell you something. I was at a boxing match a few years ago, seeing Floyd Mayweather fight a Puerto Rican guy. And a Puerto Rican national anthem, somebody sang it, and it was beautiful. I felt it was moving. After that, it was time for our national anthem. And a very popular soul-singing sister was chosen to sing it. She sang every note that exists and some that don't exist. Talk about mangling a melody. You take a one-syllable word and made it last for 15 minutes. She's doing vocal gymnastics like she was on a trapeze act. But to me, it was not funny. Where were the critics? Mangling lyrics? Mangling a melody? Mangling a treasured song? No, I get the blame. I don't really think I do that. I just think critics say I do. Sam Cooke said this when told he had a beautiful voice. He said, well, that's very kind of you. Voices ought not to be measured by how pretty they are. Instead, they matter only if they convince you that they are telling the truth. They really do. And you have to always be ready for something that's coming along that you never expected. Way back when, I was in Nashville once making some records. And I read this article, a Tom T. Hall interview. Tom T. Hall, he was bitching about some kind of new song coming in. And he couldn't understand what these new kinds of songs were that were coming in, what they were about. Now Tom, he was one of the most preeminent songwriters at the time in Nashville. A lot of people were recording his songs, and he himself even did it. But he was all in a fuss about James Taylor. The song James had called Country Road. Tom was going all off in this interview. Well, James don't say nothing about a country road. He says he can feel it on a country road. I don't understand that. Now some might say Tom was a great songwriter. I'm not going to doubt that. At the time that he's doing his interview, I was actually listening to his song on the radio. It was called I Love. Listening to it in a recording studio. And he was talking about all the things he loves. An everyman kind of song, trying to connect with people. Trying to make you think he's just like you and you're just like him. And you all love the same things. And we're all in this together. Tom loves little baby ducks, slow-moving trains and rain. He loves old pickup trucks and little country steam, streams, sleep without dreams, bourbon in a glass, coffee in a cup, tomatoes on a vine, and onions. Now listen, I'm not ever going to disparage another songwriter. I'm not going to do that. I'm not saying it's a bad song. I'm just saying it might be a little overcooked. But you know, it was in the top 10 anyway. Tom and a few other writers had the whole Nashville scene soaked up in a box. If you wanted to record a song and get it in the top 10, you had to go to them. And Tom was one of the top guys. You know something's happening here, but you just don't know what it is, do you, Mr. Gentleman? If Sunday morning coming down, rattle Tom's cage, send him into the loony bin, my song surely would have made him blow his brains out. Right there in the loony bin. Hopefully he didn't hear it. I just released an album of standards. All the songs usually done by singers like Michael Bublé, Harry Connick Jr. Maybe Brian Wilson's got a couple. Linda Ronstadt's done it. Rod, of course. Even Paul tried his hand at that stuff. But in the reviews of their records, it's different than the reviews of my records. You know, in their reviews, nobody says anything. In my reviews, people all just mention because they got to look under every stone when it comes to me. They got to mention all the songwriters' names. Well, that's okay with me. After all, they're great songwriters, and these are standards. I've seen reviews come in that mention all the songwriters in half the review. As if everybody knows them. Nobody's heard of them. Not this time, anyway. Buddy Kaye, Cy Coleman, Carolyn Lee, to name a few. But you know, I'm glad they mentioned their names. And you know what? I'm glad they got their names in the press. It might have taken some time to do it, but they're finally there. I wonder what it took so long. They're not here to see it. Traditional rock and roll, we're talking about that. That's all about rhythm. Johnny Cash said it best, get rhythm when you get the blues. Very few black and roll bands today play with rhythm, they don't really know what it is. Rock and roll is a combination of blues, and it's a strange thing, made up of two parts. A lot of people don't know this, but the blues, which is American music, is not what you think it is. It's a combination of Arabic violins and Strauss valses. What do you think of that? But it's true. The other half of rock and roll has got to be hillbilly. That's a derogatory term, but it ought not to be. That's a term that includes the Delmore Brothers, Stanley Brothers, Roscoe Holcomb, Clarence Ashley, Gid Tanner and the Skinner Lickers, groups like that. Moonshine gone berserk and fast cars on dirt roads. That's the kind of combination that makes up rock and roll, and it can't be cooked up in a science laboratory or studio. You have to have the right kind of rhythm to play this kind of music. You can't hardly play the blues with having those other two kinds of music in you. You can fake it, but you can't really do it. Critics have made a career out of accusing me of having a career out of confounding expectations. Really, that's all I do. That's all I think about. Confounding expectations. That's what do you do for a living, man? Oh, I confound expectations. You're going to get a job. The man says, what do you do? Oh, I confound expectations. The man says, oh, you know, we already have that spot filled. Call us back, or don't call us, we'll call you. Confounding expectations, what does that mean? Why me, Lord? I confound it, but I don't know how I do it. The Blackwood brothers have been talking to me about making a record together. That might confound expectations, but it shouldn't. Of course it would be a gospel album. I don't think it would be anything out of ordinary for me. Not a bit. One of the songs I'm thinking of singing is Stand By Me with the Blackwood brothers. Not Stand By Me, the pop song. No, the real Stand By Me. The real one goes like this. When the storms of life are raging, stand by me. When the storms of life are raging, stand by me. When the world is tossing me like a ship upon the sea, thou who rules the wind and water, stand by me. In the midst of tribulation, stand by me. In the midst of tribulation, stand by me. When the hosts of hell assail and my strength begins to fail, thou who's never lost a battle, stand by me. In the midst of fault and failure, stand by me. In the midst of fault and failure, stand by me. When I do the best I can, and my friends don't understand, thou who knowest all about me, stand by me. I like it better than the pop song. If I record one by that name, that's going to be the one. I'm also thinking of recording a song, not an album though. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Anyway, why me, Lord? What did I do? Anyway, I'm proud to be here tonight for MusiCares. I'm honored to have all these artists singing my songs. Great artists. They're paying me so much honor me like that. I know, most of them I know actually, and they're all women. They're all singing the truth, hear it in their voices. I'm proud to be here tonight for MusiCares. I think a lot of this organization, they've helped many people. Many musicians have contributed a lot to our culture. I'd like to personally thank them for what they did for a friend of mine, Billy Lee Riley. A friend of mine who they helped for 6 years when he was down and couldn't work. Billy was a son of a rock and roll artist, and he was a true original. He did it all. He played, he sang, he wrote. He would have been a bigger star, but Jerry Lee came along. And you know what happens when someone like that comes along. You just don't stand a chance. So Billy became what was known in the industry, a condescending term, by the way, as a one-hit wonder. But sometimes, just sometimes, once in a while, A one-hit wonder can make a more powerful impact than a recording star who's got 20 or 30 hits behind him. And Billy's hit song was called Red Hot, and it was red hot. Blast you out of your skull and make you feel happy about it. Change your life. And he did it with style and grace. You won't find him in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's not there. Metallica is. ABBA is. Mamas and the Papas, I know they're there. Jefferson Airplane, Alice Cooper, Steely Dan. I got nothing against metal. Soft rock, hard rock, psychedelic pop. I got nothing against any of that stuff. But after all, it is called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Billy Lee Riley, not there yet. I'd seen him a couple of times a year. We'd always spend time together. He was on the Rockabilly Festival, Nostalgia Circuit. And we'd cross paths now and again. We'd always spend time together. He was a hero of mine. I'd heard Red Hot. I must have been only 15 or 16 when I did. And it's impressed me to this day. I never get tired of listening to it. Never got tired of watching Billy Lee perform either. We spent time together just talking and playing into the night. He was a deep, truthful man. He wasn't bitter or nostalgic. He just accepted it. He knew where he had come from, and he was content with who he was. And then one day he got sick. And like my friend John Mellencamp would sing, because John sings the truth today, one day you get sick and you don't get better. That's from a song of his called Life is Short, Even on Its Longest Day. It's one of the better songs of the last few years, actually. Ain't lying. And I ain't lying when I tell you that. MusiCares paid for my friend's doctor bills, mortgage, and gave him spending money. And they were able to make his life at least comfortable, tolerable until the end. And any organization that would do that would have to have my blessing. I'm gonna get out of here now. I'm gonna put an egg in my shoe and beat it. I probably left out a lot of people and said too much about some, but that's okay. Like the spiritual song, I'm still just crossing over Jordan too. Let's hope we meet again sometime, and we will. If like Hank Williams says, the good Lord willing and the creek don't rise.